Yeah, I mean, obviously disappointed with the loss, and we just got to continue to keep working. And, the bottom line is, I didn't have my team ready, and I'm going to work to correct that.
What happened in the first quarter, do you think?
We weren't ready. I mean, we didn't execute well enough, and gave up a couple too many threes. They came out hot. They did a good job, and we didn't respond.
How much of this are you putting on yourself? Or
Putting all of it on myself. All of it's on me. It starts at the top.
Mm-hmm. Do you think over the course of this week they were ready, going into it?
We had a solid week of practice. But I'm sure, if I look back, there's probably some things that maybe we could have done better in practice that didn't carry over. But yeah, we've got to. We're just not consistent right now. We're not consistent.
What do you think needs to happen in order to get consistent, do you think?
I mean, I'm a believer in repetition. We've got to understand things a little bit better. We've got to make sure that, we talk a lot about the sum of our parts, and, our parts are just a little scattered right now. We're on the floor, and we've got to make sure that they're coming together.
Is it fair to say you guys weren't all on the same page?
At times, that's fair. Yeah, at times, that's fair.
What are your thoughts on some of the small ball lineups that you put in the game today?
Yeah, I thought that I think it gave us a little bit of opportunity to do some switching on defense. I didn't. It's not something we practice too much, but Rafi getting in foul trouble, I think it's something that we can definitely look to as far as just getting a little boost on the defensive end with our switching.
I know he didn't play her, obviously in that first quarter, but he got second and then started on her for the second half. Is there any reason you didn't put her in for the second quarter at all?
It's just figuring out, how we can play with 2 fouls or not. I mean, that's something that we have to do in practice, that we've got to work on, playing with 2 fouls and being smart with that. So, and I thought she gave a pretty good effort in the second half.
Was everything all right with Maya? I know she got banged up at the end of the third quarter. I don't know if you...
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah, cool. She's fine.
Are you concerned that a potential pattern keep developing, like we saw with Penn State and LaSalle getting down early in the first quarter?
Yeah, it's been definitely a pattern, but like I said, I didn't have my team ready. It's on me, and we're going to fix it.
Basically.
We're going to fix it.
What really happened during that first quarter today?
Can you remind me? I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
You guys got down 18.
Oh, like as a whole.
It seemed like they really exploited a lot of you guys.
We just didn't come out as energy, and that's been our problem for the past few games. It happened sometimes last year as well, but we just need to come out with more energy and just be ready to play rather than get a slow start like normally.
How was your preparation coming into today's game? Do you guys feel like you came in today ready and prepared?
Honestly, I thought we did, but it didn't show in the first quarter, obviously. It didn't look like we did, but warm-up felt fine. Energy in the locker room felt good, but I guess we just didn't execute when we needed to in the first quarter.
What do you think was the biggest reason you guys went down early, eventually allowing them to extend the lead to 20 points?
Sometimes I feel like we get within ourselves rather than reach out when we need help and stuff, and I feel like that was probably a big contributor in that time, but we just got to learn to look for others for help and keep our heads up.
How would you grade the communication then?
In that first quarter?
In the first quarter, the whole game?
It picked up throughout, obviously, as you can tell, but first quarter I felt like it was there. I just feel like it wasn't loud enough for everybody to hear it. So it just needs to be louder, and everybody needs to talk. So,
Victoria, what would you rather have seen done differently in that first half?
I think the biggest thing is, like she said, we have to come out with energy. It's been kind of like an ongoing problem, as you've been able to tell. But just coming out of the locker room and being ready to play as soon as the ball goes up. I think sometimes we're kind of on our heels a little bit when the game starts, and then we're really into getting down and having to dig back into the game. So I think the biggest thing is just coming out and throwing that first punch and being ready to play.
When you guys cut the lead to single digits in that fourth quarter, did you feel like you guys could, I guess, potentially mount a comeback like you did against LaSalle?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a player, you feel the momentum shift a little bit, and I think that the biggest thing that we have to work on is stringing together stops and scores, and we'd score and then they'd match us. There was no stop, score. So I think the biggest thing is just once we have that momentum is just to continue and keep our foot on the gas.
Defensively, do you feel like you have enough help defense on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, we have help. It's just sometimes people are hesitant to trust that it's behind them because we're not communicating. So if you're not talking, you don't know that anyone is behind you to back you up. So then you don't play as aggressive on the ball. So I think that's the biggest thing. It comes back to the communication and just knowing that your teammates have your back.
Yeah. Michaela, one more question for you. The bottom half of the guards are a little banged up. How much does that, I guess, give you guys a little bit of a boost to really like stay in the game and just play harder?
I mean, since like there's obviously a few of us that are hurt, but it just gives us more motivation to like play for them and play their minutes for them that they can't for them. Mm-hmm. So just to be there for them, even though when they can't, because we all know they want to be on the floor. Mm-hmm. So just taking advantage of all the time that we get on the floor and help them out in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's been some struggles shooting, especially from distance so far this year. Do you think that's just a factor of defenses sort of getting used to the scout and knowing how to play, or do you think that's something that it's just shots just aren't going in?
I personally think it's just shots not going. I think it has a little bit to do with both, since like all of our shooters are just known now. But I think a big factor is just like we don't get in the gym enough probably to shoot those shots and practice those types of shots that we're going to end up taking.
Right. And I think the biggest thing is in practice, you're not getting enough reps to replicate an actual game or to replicate that feeling of, okay, like you're comfortable in your shot. So I think the biggest thing is just like, also I think sometimes we hesitate when the ball gets kicked out, when we have an opening. And I think also the 3-point line being further back is another factor, I think.
I agree with that.
Even though it's been, I guess, moved further back, I think that this is the second year.
No, this is the first year.
First year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how has that been an adjustment for you guys?
In a way, it is an adjustment, but like at the same time, like it's not really like you just have to shoot it in order to know. Like it's just more of a feeling type thing. It's kind of hard to explain, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment has been more on the defensive end. Our closeouts have to be not a lot longer, but longer than we're used to.
Yeah.
So making sure we're getting out to shooters. Sometimes we're not coming out as far as we need to. So I think that.
Is that in like specifically a man defense or zone or both?
I think both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.